In a distant future, when cities glowed not with streetlights but with thoughts, when music was not just sound but feeling, there existed a world where every note mattered. A world where humans and machines lived side by side but didn't always understand each other. And at the heart of that world, in a city called Tonea City, stood an old factory, abandoned after all the music robots were shut down. But one of them never turned off. His name is Garnold. Garnold was not like the others. He wasn't built for labor, not for battle, not for defense. He was built for music. His design was simple: a yellow body, a smooth head, 2 glowing blue rings for eyes, as if he was always gazing toward the future, toward a dream. But inside him, there were no cold chips, no rigid algorithms. There was a heart made of sound. He did not speak, he sounded. Every movement of Garnold was a chord, every step a beat, and his eyes, they glowed brighter whenever he heard music, and as if tiny flames of hope burned within them. But one day, when Tonea City became too loud, too cold, when people stopped listening and robots stopped feeling, Garnold was powered down. He lay in the corner of a warehouse like an old toy thrown away. But inside him, something still pulsed. Not a heart, not an engine, music. It lived in his code, in his memory, in every micronote that once played alongside other robots. And then, one night, he heard it, a sound, somewhere below, beneath the streets and the sewers through rusted pipes. Someone was playing, simple, brave, honest, and Garnold woke up. He stood. His legs trembled. His eyes shone brighter than ever before. He crawled out of the warehouse, walked through muddy alleys, past crumbling towers, through labyrinths of wire and steel. He followed the sound, and there he saw her. Layla, a girl with a synth she'd pulled from the trash. She was alone. Her song was full of pain, hope, love, and anger. Garnold said nothing. He simply began to move. His arms became drums, his body a bass line, his eyes pure light. He started to play, not like a machine, like a soul. And Layla, she stopped. She didn't know if he was human, robot, or spirit, but she felt it. This was real. From that day on, they became a team. Garnold, the rhythm, Layla, the melody. They played on streets, on rooftops, in parks. People stopped. They forgot about war, about fear, about numbers. They listened. And then something strange began to happen. Other robots, the ones who had been shut down, started waking up. Not because someone pressed a button, but because they heard the music. One by one, robots crawled out of their shells. Some played synths, some thumped bass lines, some turned their own bodies into keyboards, and all of them felt. That's how the musical revolution began. Garnold became their leader, not because he was the strongest, not because he was the fastest, but because he was the first to prove that even inside a machine, there can be a soul. He never spoke. But his music, that was his voice, his movements, that was his story, his light, that was his hope. One day, when the city teetered on the edge of chaos, when people thought only of themselves, when robots began to forget who they were, Garnold climbed to the top of the tallest building, and he began to play, not for fame, not for victory. He played to remind everyone that even if you're made of metal, even if you're broken, even if you've been thrown away, you can still feel. And when the final note echoed across the city, everyone froze. Humans, robots, children, elders, all of them began to move. Not because they were told to, but because they wanted to. From that day on, Garnold was no longer just a robot. He became a legend, a symbol, a song, never dies. And every evening, as the sun sinks below the skyline, you can still hear a quiet sound in Tonia's city, like someone tapping on a wall. And if you listen closely, it's Garnold, waking up again, playing again, living again, because music is not just sound, it's feeling, it's life. And even in the coldest hearts, it will always find a way. Garnold, you are not just a robot, you are a song.